All right, welcome back. It is time for this day in history. It is June 10th. Way back in the day, 1752, Benjamin Franklin, he flew a kite during a thunderstorm to collect ambient electrical charge in a Leyden jar, and this enabled him to demonstrate the connection between lightning and electricity. So that's a portrait, a painting, a portrayal of that there on your screen. But yeah, he's coined a lot of the terms that we use today: the battery, conductor, electrician, lots of things that have to do with electricity. He also, I believe, invented the lightning rod that's used, to protect buildings. So
we should just say
a smart man.
He was.
Yes. But not encouraging anyone to go out in the storms tonight and fly a kite, right? There we go.
Put the key in the sky,
A smart man, but maybe
a risk
taker for sure.
Yes.
They had to be back then, right? Because nobody had done it before.
So that's the first thing on this date history. 1837 on this date, workmen arrived in Madison to begin the construction of the first state capitol building. And now I've read a little bit about it. I've read a little bit about it at the current Capitol building. I know that there were a few fires. The current one isn't the original, correct? Yes. But yeah, so then a ceremony to lay the building's cornerstone was to be held 3 weeks later. So Charlie, I believe, will have some more details on that for our We the People This Day in History, but that's a picture that I took of the Capitol building.
Okay.
So that's a
And Madison
neat.
wasn't the first capital of Wisconsin either.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, there you go.
We're all learning more today.
Yeah.
All right, and then on this day in 1922, Judy Garland was born. Of course, she is the popular movie star who sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. It's a picture of them in that movie there, a classic. And then we'll wrap things up with a national day as we usually do. It's Iced Tea Day. Love it. Are you guys iced tea fans?
No.
Sweet or non-sweet? I know this is our neighbors.
I grew up having this for dinner every night.
Really?
Like, iced tea was
we
the
do
drink
too.
of
My
choice.
mom always makes it. Our neighbors are from Michigan and they do it unsweet, but I'm a sweet tea gal. Add some peach in there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like lemonade more, but I like iced tea too.
You do half and half? What's that called?
Half and half all the time.
Arnold
Love it.
Palmer.
Arnold Palmer. That's it.
There you go. Nailed it. All right, Delaney, thank you so much. Stick with us. We'll be right back after this short break.